What's your thoughts going into this one? For the big game, huge game?
Yeah, huge game, and obviously we're all extremely excited for the 5 games that are coming up, starting on Saturday at McDiarmid Park. We've had a good couple of weeks planning and preparing for it. It's given us a good opportunity to get 1 or 2 players who had been playing through niggles, an opportunity to get them right, and also a chance for us to get Glenn Middleton some really good minutes with the group, and he's back to full contact training, I'm delighted to say. So another really good attacking option for me now to be available going into this crucial period. We've sold a huge amount of tickets, obviously. I think under an hour we sold 2,700 tickets, which is a remarkable achievement by the supporters, and I know that we've been pushing to try and get some more off of St Johnstone, and I'm hoping in the next 48 hours that they might see sense and give us a few more tickets so that we can get as many Dundee United supporters there as possible. But it should make for a very good atmosphere and a very important game for both teams.
I've asked you this question a couple of times since you came in about breaks coming at the wrong time, but what momentum you had going in to the 2 weeks off? I mean, this must be the classic case of it did come at the wrong time, because you and the boys would have just been itching to get out there as quick as possible.
Well, no, I know what you're saying, and I take your point. When you are on a winning run, you don't want there to be a break in play, if you like, but actually it's the opposite for us. We've had 2 or 3 key players that have been playing through muscle injuries and different knocks, if you like. Obviously Jamie McGrath came off during the Livingston game, and had there been a game 7 days later, then Jamie wouldn't have been available. So the fact that we've been able to mollycoddle 2 or 3 of them and get them right has been a bonus for us, and I'm pretty sure Stephen McLean will be thinking the same himself. It's brought him a little bit more time to spend with his players and to try and get his ideas across to them. But no, we're not complaining about the break at all. It's actually gave us a real opportunity to recharge the batteries and get a real freshness within the group, and then the boys are in a great place right now.
And it's an opportunity to pull another team really back into the mix this weekend. When you go above them as well, that's got to be the aim, isn't it? And the message again to the players, despite this excellent form, is you've still got a lot of work to do. You're still in it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we had a really positive meeting on Monday. Again, just reminding ourselves of what the objective is and what the principles are, and basically that what you said about not getting carried away, realising the situation that we're in. As good a run as we have been on, you've got to give great credit to Derek McInnes and his Kilmarnock players as well. They've been on a fairly decent run themselves, which is why the 2 of us are level pegging on points at the moment. But if you'd have offered me this position prior to the Hibs game a few weeks ago, when we were 5 points adrift at the bottom of the table, and you were to tell me that it would be in our own hands going into the post-split fixtures, then I'd have snapped the hand off you, to be perfectly honest. So St Johnstone are our next target. If we win the game, obviously we go above them, and that's a huge incentive to the group, and that's got to be the motivation. It's as simple as that. Our record at McDiarmid Park in recent seasons has been very, very good, and we want to try and maintain that after Saturday.
You mentioned the ticket sales. As you say, almost 3,000 tickets been sold, well under an hour. It shows that the fans have really bought in to what you're doing and the work you've done and the progress that you've made. They will have been worried, I would have thought, to read the stuff in the press over the last couple of weeks, saying that there have been clubs elsewhere sounding you out about the future beyond the end of this season. Is there anything you're able to say that can maybe reassure those fans? And is that a distraction, that those kind of headlines, is that a distraction for you or maybe the players in terms of the job you focused on just now?
Well, look, firstly on the supporters, they've been magnificent since I've came in, and I think I've been asked about them pretty much every press conference prior to games and after games, and the welcome that they've given me has been exceptional. The fact that they're really rallying now and getting behind the team at such a crucial period of the season is credit to them. As I said, for us to be bringing 2,700 to McDiarmid Park on Saturday is remarkable, and season ticket sales are going really well as well, it has to be said. I mean, we're in excess of 4,000 I think just now, and the season hasn't even finished, so that shows you the commitment from the supporters, and I think they've enjoyed what they've seen in recent weeks. I think they see a team now that is playing with real pride and purpose, and a real desire and a commitment to repay the faith that they've given the players at this key moment in the season. So with regards to the speculation about myself, Tyrone, I don't know where it comes from. It's right now at this moment in time, my focus is on Dundee United, and it's all that I'm concerned about at the moment. I've absolutely loved my time here. I've had great support in a short period of time from the owner and from Luigi Capuano, the chief executive, and all of the backroom staff that I've inherited have been a breath of fresh air. So hopefully I can fulfil what was the short-term objective of keeping Dundee United in the Premier League, and hopefully in the summer there'll be discussions to be had with the board here, because as I said, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's an ambitious club, it's a very well supported club, and it matches my own ambitions, which is the most important thing. But right now the focus of myself, the staff and the players is on the next 5 games, and what happens in the distant future is irrelevant really.
And just a final one on that, and a final one for me. I mean, touching the fans buying into what you're doing, there's been a huge improvement since you come in, results have been good. There would be people that might think, if everyone's happy, why not try and get your long term sorted out here now, just to remove any uncertainty, and then everyone can kind of focus on the long term future?
Yeah, well look, like I said, and I think as you said in your previous question, you alluded to the fact that there's still a hell of a lot of work to be done. We haven't achieved anything yet. We've put ourselves in a great position. It's in our own hands. The message from me to the players is just don't drop the standards. Don't get carried away with all the hype. Whatever's been said in the press or whatever's been said on social media platforms from our own supporters getting excited, we cannot get dragged into that. We have to just maintain the hard work that's got it here, and that's all it's been really. It's not a case of me coming in and trying to reinvent the wheel. We've tried to put down some key principles that we want to believe in and that we want to buy into and what we want to be recognised for as a team, but it's ultimately been down to really hard work from the players with a little bit of guidance from me. So the players have put themselves in a brilliant position. It would be a great shame now if we were to take our foot off the gas and ruin all that hard work, and I can assure you that won't be allowed. So we'll keep going, keep taking it game by game, and hopefully starting on Saturday with a really positive performance and hopefully a good result off the back of it.
Jim, obviously United enjoying great resurgence under yourself. You'll be hoping that there's no new manager bounce for St Johnstone under Stephen McLean. Yeah,
I watched the game back, Stephen's first game against Hibs, and I thought they were very good. Callum Davidson played a 4-3-3 in his last game at Livingston, and Stephen is obviously stuck with that, and I would imagine that would probably be the system that he goes with in our game on Saturday. With regards to personnel, obviously you're never too sure until you get the team lines in, but I think Stephen would have been happy with the break there for the Cup, and it would have bought him a little bit more time with the players and really allowed him to get his message across to the players of what he's looking for. He's a familiar voice in the dressing room. He knows all of those players inside out. He's been there for a long time. He knows what the club means to the supporters, and I'm pretty sure he'll be wanting to put a real positive mark down in this particular game. It's very hard to gauge exactly how things would have panned out in the Hibs game because Hibs' early red card, but it was a decent performance from St Johnstone. This Saturday has got a derby feel to it. There's going to be a good atmosphere there generated by both sets of supporters, and we just need to make sure that we focus on what we can do and make sure that we're concentrating, that we're showing that similar level of aggression and determination that we've shown in recent weeks, added to the real quality now that we've got at the top end of the pitch.
And you touched upon Glenn Middleton. Is he back in the squad for this weekend?
Yeah, I mean we've nursed Glenn along nicely. Got to give credit to the medical team and the strength and conditioning guys. We wanted to be sure that when Glenn comes back that he's going to stay back. I think he rushed himself back for the Ross County game before I was in, and unfortunately done himself more damage. So we feel as if we've got him in a really good place now, physically and mentally, where he's got that trust in his own body. He's had full contact training now for the last week, and he looks great. So of course he's not where we need him to be fitness wise in terms of playing 90 minutes, but he's a terrific option for me to have coming off the bench if needed on Saturday. and we'll just try and build his minutes up between now and the end of the season.
And what's the rest of your news, team-wise?
Everybody's good, really. You know, as I said, Jamie went off on Saturday, 10 days ago against Livingston, but he's fully recovered now. And then Levitt is getting closer, and we would really like to see Glenn available and back in the team, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Another good option for me if we can do that. But we're in a great place. You know, the boys are full of confidence, momentum is with us, and we just have to make sure that we keep that going.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
There is the old cliche about taking one game at a time and not looking any further forward in the next game, but how true and relevant is that for Dundee United at this moment in time?
I think that's got to remain the case. You know, win, lose or draw on Saturday, it's not going to, be whatever the outcome is come the end of the season. You know, we have to just, as you say, take every single game at a time. It's a very boring cliche, but it's the truth. You know, we have to give St Johnstone the respect that they deserve. You know, they're the home team. They've been on a bit of a difficult run themselves. You know, they've not had many wins recently, so we have to try and keep the pressure on them. You know, we're looking up the way now, whereas maybe a few weeks ago St Johnstone thought that they were safe and that they were out of the mix of relegation. They've now been very much dragged into it, and it's up to myself and it's up to Derek McInnes at Kilmarnock to really keep that pressure on them and see how they handle it.
Do you feel that it's all within Dundee United's hands? What happens? Basically, you're in a position where you're not relying on anybody else. Do you think that gives you any psychological advantage at all in this situation?
Well, listen, I think that was the point I was alluding to earlier when you looked at the league table prior to Hibs and you're 5 points adrift. If we were 5 points adrift now at this moment in time, then we would I would be saying that we'd have a real mountain to climb. But the fact that the players and the staff have been able to really rally and get that momentum behind us, and not only take us off the bottom of the table, but take us up into 10th at the moment, only a couple of points behind St Johnstone, I think is great credit to the group, and it is in our hands. It's as simple as that. But every manager of every other team out there in the bottom half of the table will be saying the same thing. Everybody has still got a lot to play for. Albeit Livingston are out of the mix, they'll still be wanting to finish 7th. There's prize money available for all of the teams, depending on what position you finish in. So, we'll treat every game on its own merits, starting with Saturday. They're a difficult opposition. They've got players in the forward areas that can hurt you. But at the same time, we've got great confidence and belief in the group at the moment that we can go anywhere and pick up a result.
Travelling up to McDermott Park, it's this sort of, it's very deceptive perhaps in its dimensions, because it is a very big park. It actually has the same dimensions as Hampden Park, the actual grass covered play area. So does that, part of the reason why Dundee United often play well up there, because they've got all this extra space to go into?
I don't know about that. I mean, it could be in better condition, if you like. I mean, I think it's a little bit bare in places and a little bit bobbly in places, but I don't think players tend to get too carried away with dimensions of pitches. It's not something that we talk about in team talks. We know how difficult the game is going to be. It's going to be very challenging. I hope we can set the tone early on, the same way that we did against Livingston. Getting after them, getting in their faces, making life difficult for them. I think that's something that every team that we've played against, since I've came in, every opposition has realised that they've been in a game and that they've not had it easy, and that needs to remain the case over the next 5 games. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. As I said, great travel and support. Always a decent game over there. We've got a good history there, and there's no reason why we can't go there and get a positive result.
Well, that's one for me. What do you want to say to these fans that are going to be up there on Saturday?
Well, I think on behalf of the group, I'd just like to thank them. First and foremost, it's been a very difficult and challenging season for everybody. Would have been very easy for the fans to turn their back on the club and show their frustration that way, but they haven't. They have really got behind the group, and I think that's down to what they've seen on the pitch. I think the players have shown the support, how much it means to them and how much they care and how much pride they take in wearing the jersey. And we had an open day last weekend, and hundreds of them turned up on the Saturday morning to see the players. It was a good opportunity for myself and the staff and the players to mingle with the supporters and try and capture the imagination of some of the younger fans, and hopefully they'll be the lifeblood of the club going forward. But look, there is a lot of positivity around the club at the moment, and we've just got to make sure that we carry that forward.
So I know there's some speculation about Jamie McGrath's future, talk about interest in Hibs. How important is it to United to keep him here as a permanent player?
Well, Jamie will go back to Wigan after the last day of the season because he's contracted to Wigan. I know he's loved his time here at Dundee United. He obviously disappointed himself in terms of how the season has panned out. He certainly didn't come to United in the summer to be involved in a relegation dogfight. I think from any of us looking from the outside in at the Dundee United squad, we all believed that they would be up there challenging top six, and that's why Jamie came to the club initially. But I've worked with Jamie very closely at St Mirren for a couple of seasons. I think we work well together. I would like to think he'd say the same. He's got international recognition through myself and himself working together, and I hope that if he is to leave Wigan next year, then I would like to think wherever I am, I would have a good opportunity to be at the table in those discussions, and we'll just need to wait and see what happens there. But Jamie knows, I think, the world of him. He's a really important member of this group, and I'm pretty sure he'll have a number of very keen suitors in the summer. But I think what we've done here, the professionalism from the club, the way that he's been treated here, I think will hopefully put us in the driver's seat.
So wherever you are, you hope it's United?
Well, like I said, I've loved my time at United. We haven't gone too far into future discussions. My main focus is about this season. That was always the plan when I came in. It was a short-term contract till the end of the season. Do what you can to keep the club in the league, and then once things are settled down, if I do what was asked of me, then I would like to think that those discussions will start. But listen, this is a big club. There'll be a number of managers out there who would love to be sitting in this seat at the moment because of the ambitions of the club. So yeah, we'll just need to wait and see what happens. But my message to everybody out there is that I've loved my time here. I've had great backing from everybody, from the board to the supporters to the backroom team, and I believe there's a very good group of players still contracted to the club for next season as well who will only improve.